Well, good morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist Taylor Stephenson joining you on the weather desk this morning. Happy Monday and happy last few days of April. Here on the weather desk on 13 News Now Plus, we go over the biggest weather headlines across the world, across the country, and here locally in Hampton Roads, Virginia, which is southeastern Virginia, and northeastern North Carolina. We have a lot to get to today, so let's talk about the main stories we have for your weather desk on your Monday. As we continue throughout the day today, we will talk more about the severe weather in the central U.S. This has been a big deal for a lot of places in Oklahoma, Texas, and Kansas, as they've been the bullseye of multiple rounds of severe weather throughout severe weather season, which is interesting because here on the East Coast, we have had very little in the way of severe weather since severe weather season began on March 1st. I am also watching for the devastation that's happening down in South Georgia and northern Florida, where we do have wildfires. They are raging in the South with this historic drought that we have ongoing throughout the South, throughout the East Coast here through Virginia and North Carolina, and all across the United States. And then here for Hampton Roads, I'll have your work week forecast. We'll be talking about how the cooler weather is in place for the beginning of the work week. As we get into the middle of the week, we warm up, but we have the chance for severe weather, and then we cool down again as we begin the first few days of May. But right now, we're going to start with severe weather in that central U.S. Parts of the U.S. are cleaning up after being slammed by another round of severe weather. Check this one out. Someone captured multiple tornadoes on camera in northern Oklahoma. This video was recorded near Foraker, near the Kansas state line. These tornadoes are one of many to touch down in the central U.S. over the last couple of weeks. It hits close to home, too, because for me, my mom was in Oklahoma during this time. She was there over the weekend, and she sent me a picture from viewing the news stations there in Oklahoma City of the tornado in Enid. And she and I used to both go to the University of Oklahoma, so our old stomping grounds. Now, not too far away, of course, from Oklahoma is Kansas, where they also got severe weather. This is a look at some of the damage in Miami County, just south of Kansas City. The storm toppled power lines and trees and destroyed almost a dozen structures and knocked out power to homes. Part of the state remains under a severe thunderstorm watch and flood warnings this morning.
It was kind of like yellowish out before it happened, and then it was getting like really gray. And I remember I was up here and it was lightninging, and I went down to my house and it like started to rain and wind really hard, and I just remember a lot of stuff like coming across the sky, and then I remember the clouds were going down and they looked like really heavy, and then we went inside and then it really started like hailing and stuff like that.
Very scary moments from that recounting of those tornadoes and storms that rolled through, but fortunately, no injuries have been reported so far. Now, severe weather is to blame for at least 2 deaths in northern Texas. An EF1 tornado touched down in Parker County, while an EF2 touched down in Runaway Bay. The powerful winds tore roofs off homes and buildings, leaving at least 20 families without a place to stay. Here's a closer look at how the community is recovering.
Yes, you could hear the wind, you could hear the sound of a freight train.
In the lakeside city of Runaway Bay,
Huddled up and prayed.
a deadly storm hit late Saturday night.
There's RVs that are flipped over.
1 person is dead, 6 more injured.
My prayers go up for the family.
And Wise County officials say 20 families are displaced.
Luckily, we wasn't here. We took off right before it hit.
Including Donald and Lisa Self.
And we still have each other. And
These native Texans,
33 years together.
for the first time experienced a tornado.
Yesterday was very scary. Of course, we always had that, thought of It happens to everybody else. It doesn't happen to us. Well, it did.
In more ways than one, they are survivors as Lisa battles breast cancer.
All this stuff will be replaced.
And now faces a destroyed home.
Thank God we're okay.
The National Weather Service confirms the storm as an EF2 tornado, winds as high as 135 miles per hour.
Largest hail I've ever seen or heard in Runaway Bay ever since I've been here since '85.
Mayor Herman White says roads are blocked for safety.
There's like 64 poles that are down at this moment, electric lines everywhere.
And he mourns for the life lost in his city.
It's terrible. You know, these are just not citizens, they're friends.
The mayor says the people of Runaway Bay are already coming together.
First thing comes to me is taking care of our people first that are survivors.
Cleanup started the moment the sun came up.
Been very impressed with the number of people that have come out here to help us.
And it continues until everyone in town recovers.
I know we're going to gather together and really help everyone out.
Of course, our thoughts are with the families who have lost loved ones in those severe storms over the past few days. Now, speaking of severe storms, I am tracking some storms this morning along a system that's bringing some widespread rainfall of portions of Iowa and into Kansas as well. As I mentioned earlier, portions of the state still underneath those severe thunderstorm warnings and watches now. And you can see the watches span from the eastern portions of Kansas through Missouri and then out into St. Louis, where they also have a severe thunderstorm watch in effect in those areas as well. And I can tell that it's probably more wind damage that they're looking for as those lines bow out and continue to push in some gustier winds to the heartland of the country. Of course, as we continue throughout the day, we'll give you more updates. And tomorrow on the weather desk, I'll give you any updates if any damage happens in those areas. We're going to take a quick break, but coming up in 2 minutes, firefighters in 2 states are battling massive wildfires. We'll have the check of their progress next. Welcome back, everyone. Strong winds and dry conditions are fueling wildfires in southern Georgia. So far, the Pineland Road has scorched more than 32,000 acres and is 10% contained. Meanwhile, the Highway 82 fire has nearly burned 21,000 acres in Brantley County. Right now, it's only about 7% contained. The flames have already destroyed dozens of homes. Now officials are urging residents under the evacuation orders to leave the area, and more evacuations could be coming.
This is a dynamic fire event that is wind driven, and you can rest assured if you're out here today, you can feel this wind. It has stoked that fire, and this is a major event. So please, if you are given an evacuation order, because we've heard people say we're not leaving, please, if you're given an evacuation order, leave the scene. This fire is moving at a fast pace, and we do not have much control over where it's currently moving.
As you heard the officials, please take their warnings. Investigators believe that at least one of those fires started when a balloon from a children's birthday party or from a children's party, excuse me, landed on a power line. Now, it's not just Georgia dealing with the wildfires, like southern Georgia near Valdosta or just to the southwest of Savannah. It's also in Florida, where crews have been working to put out one in Clay County for more than a week. That's near Jacksonville. So far, it's scorched nearly 5,000 acres and is now 75% contained. Bailana Garland has more.
When you see a wall of flames coming at you, it puts life in perspective, 100%.
That is what these crews walked into last Sunday when a weather change sent this fire exploding.
Scary is the word. I mean, we are very used to structural fires, but a long fire front, hundreds of yards, maybe a mile long at a time, approaching structures, we can't even stop that. We have to get in, get people out, and try to protect the structure around that.
The efforts to contain the flames, pushing fire crews to work around the clock.
They were working their 24-hour shift in the station and then typically being held over and working 12 additional, sometimes 24 additional, depending on the needs.
Fresh state crews from Orlando and Southwest Florida have now rotated in, giving local firefighters a chance to breathe and prepare for what could be next.
The fear is the next one.
It's 88 to 89% of these wildfires are caused by humans. So if we can put a little bit of a dent in that.
The crews work through sandy, dusty, and dry terrain.
Come back looking pretty full of soot and dirt, and it's going to take more than one shower to get them off of it when they get back to their quarters.
They're dragging hose lines deep into the woods to reach hot spots and doing the slow physical work of making sure this fire doesn't spread.
Everybody's got a home life, and the crews that are out here, they're working 8 to 8, 12-hour shifts typically on the day crew, and same thing with the overnight crew. So as far as sacrifice, there's a lot of time, but we know what we sign up for when we get here. We're here for the community. That's why we chose this profession.
And we will continue to monitor the wildfires as this historic drought continues. Now, April has been on the drier side for Hampton Roads, and after the break, we'll go over the top 5 driest months ever recorded in this region. Welcome back, everyone. Now, Hampton Roads got some much needed rain over the weekend, but we are still below average for April. Meteorologist Hunter Force has the top 5 driest months ever recorded in this region.
If you think it's been dry lately, just wait until you see how extreme it's been in the past. Here are the top 5 driest months on record here in Norfolk, and the numbers are pretty incredible. At the top of the list, we have October of 2000, with just 1/100th of an inch of rain for the entire month. And to put that into perspective, October typically sees about 3.86 inches of rainfall, so that was a massive deficit. Next is November of 2001, with only 0.08 of an inch. Then September of 1884, which recorded just 0.17 inches of rain. February of 1918 comes with about a 1/4 inch of rain, and rounding out the list, July of 1993, with just over 1/3 of an inch of rain. So while dry weather can come and go, these months really stand out, showing just how extreme the lack of rainfall can be. For 13 News Now, I'm meteorologist Hunter Forst.
Thank you so much, Hunter. Let's talk a little bit more about this drought here across Hampton Roads. Let's take this graphic full so we can see the full thing. Thank you very much. Here's a look at the drought monitor right now, and the drought monitor updates every Thursday. Right now, Hampton Roads in northeastern North Carolina, and I'll take my little arrow out here so you can see, we are in that moderate drought for the southern peninsula, most of the south side, and then most of northeastern North Carolina. In the orange, that's your severe drought that encompasses the eastern shore, northern neck, middle peninsula, and northern portions of the peninsula. Also, for the western south side, places south of the Albemarle and then around the Outer Banks. Now, in this giant red area, that's an extreme drought that encompasses Roanoke Rapids down through Rocky Mount, down through I-85, and then just on the northern sides of Raleigh. Giving you a big look at the picture, look how dry the U.S. is. This is one of the driest spring droughts, or the worst spring droughts we've ever had in the United States. For Virginia specifically, and I'll even zoom back in just a little bit, you can see that the majority of Virginia is in a severe drought. This is one of the worst droughts for the Commonwealth since October 2007, so almost 19 years ago, with extreme drought ongoing for portions of North Carolina. Now, we've had a lot of hot days. We even had temperatures in the 90s on April 15th and 16th, but in terms of our rain, it has been few and far between. This weekend has helped. That put us closer to an inch of rainfall in total for the month. We have picked up about 0.95 inches of rain. That still puts us in the top 10 driest Aprils on record for Norfolk at the Norfolk International Airport, but I am expecting rain on Wednesday. So coming up after the break, we're going to take one more break, and then in 2 minutes, I'll have your work week outlook that talks about the rain and the potential for severe weather on Wednesday. Welcome back, everybody. It's been a cool start to the work week, but I am anticipating temperatures to warm up. Let's talk about your work week forecast. We're going to be dry and cool on your Monday and Tuesday as temperatures sit easily 10 to 15 degrees below normal for today. Tomorrow will be about 5 degrees below normal. On Wednesday, we get a warm front coming through. This warm front will bring us in, as it suggests, warmer air, but it also, along that front, will bring us some showers and thunderstorms. And then as we head through the end of the week, temperatures slowly cool off, and we also have a few rain chances to round out your April and enter into May. Here's a look at our satellite and radar, and you can see where the cloud cover is still hugging on to portions of the southern viewing area through Nags Head, down through the Outer Banks, and places around and south of the Albemarle Sound. For Virginia, only seeing a few clouds here and there, but the peninsula is mainly clear. Here's a bigger picture of what's going on. We have high pressure in control right now, and what high pressure does is it gives us very dry weather. But when high pressure is to our north, that pulls in those cooler winds, and that cooler air comes down through Virginia and North Carolina, giving us a cooler than normal day. Our cold front also influenced our weather as well. It brought us rain during the weekend and also a batch of cool air to start this work week. We still are underneath a coastal flood statement that's lower than a coastal flood advisory, and in these areas of Isle of Wight, Suffolk, Chesapeake, Portsmouth, Norfolk, Pocosin, and Hampton, we had the potential of seeing up to a half-foot of water above ground level in low-lying and poor drainage and vulnerable areas this morning. We had high tide around 7 a.m., so I do think that this is starting to subside. This coastal flood statement is only in effect for the next 25 to 35 minutes. It does expire at 10 a.m., so good news is we will start to see those tide levels starting to recede just a little bit. From your Thompson Creek Window Company Skyview, you can see the clouds hanging on to the coast in the distance from our Nauticus camera overlooking downtown Norfolk. It is a pretty day. It's just a cool start to the day. Temperatures are in the 40s and 50s, and right now the Norfolk International Airport, we're in the mid-50s at 54 degrees. We do have those north-northeast winds up to about 15 to 20 miles per hour sustained, which means gusts could be higher up to about 25 today, but those north-northeast winds pull in, like I said, that cooler air. So walking you through the rest of your day, we will see the temperature struggling to climb. By the time we get to around noon today, temperatures will be in the upper 50s to the low 60s. Highs today will occur right around 4 to 5 p.m. Temperatures around the coast will be in the upper 50s and low 60s. Inland will be in the mid to upper 60s. Our normal high temperature for this time of year is around 74 degrees. So again, easily 10 to 15 degrees below normal around the coast. Inland, we're about 5 to 10 degrees below normal for this time of year. We continue through the evening time and temperatures slowly back off, but notice how we stay very clear throughout the rest of the day as our skies remain fairly cloudless through 7 to 8 p.m. tonight. Now looking ahead to tomorrow, this will be a pretty nice day. Still a bit cooler than normal, but it will be pleasant. Temperatures will be in the upper 40s during the morning time. By the time we get to the afternoon, highs will be scraping near 70 degrees. Inland, I could see some temperatures making it to the low to mid 70s. We'll start off partly cloudy with some increasing cloud cover here and there on Tuesday before our next system arrives on Wednesday. And on Wednesday, I am anticipating the opportunity for some isolated severe thunderstorms possible all throughout Hampton Roads and northeastern North Carolina. We haven't been in a severe weather outlook in quite some time. And so with this is very minimal chances of seeing that severe weather. The main threats are going to be gusty winds up to about 40 to 60 miles per hour. Also, we have the chance to see some heavy downpours and lightning. So please make sure when thunder roars, you do head indoors. As we continue through the next 5 days, you can see the kind of the roller coaster. We're on the up and up, and then we kind of start to go back down. Temperatures rise to the mid 70s on Wednesday, right near our normal high temperature, before we cool off to near 70 on the last day of April and the first day of May. The rain showers may continue into Thursday morning. We dry out briefly on Friday before our next chance for showers arrives on your Saturday afternoon and evening. And then on Sunday, as we begin the first full week of May, we start off with a lot of sunshine. Both days for the weekend will be in the mid 60s, so cooler than normal, but again, the better of the 2 days right now looks to be Sunday. Please keep up with updates as this This weekend is not only Norfolk's Wine Festival, but on Sunday, it's also Portsmouth's Wine Festival. So, of course, a lot of people will be paying attention to the forecast. Remember, you can always get the latest news, weather, and traffic on the go with the 13 News Now app. Scan the QR code on the screen and download it for free from the Apple Store and from Google Play. Again, I'm meteorologist Taylor Stephenson here with the Weather Desk. This show happens every day, Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. here on 13 News Now Plus, where we talk about the latest headlines here in Hampton Roads in northeastern North Carolina, across the country, and sometimes we take it across the world. Have a really great Monday, and I'll join you again here on 13 News Now Plus for the Weather Desk at 9 a.m. tomorrow.